Yeah, check 1 2, check 1 2. Is this mic on? Is this mic on? Hey, listen, man, it's the one and only trendsetter DJ Sense, and you're listening to CockTales, dirty discussions with Kiki and Medinah Monroe. Yeah.
Today's cocktail is called The Affair.
Ooh.
The ingredients you need, you're gonna need 2 ounces of Viia, a half ounce of vanilla syrup, and 1 ounce of espresso or a cold brew, and some coffee beans for a garnish. So grab your martini glass, make sure it's clean. You're going to put 2 ounces of the Viia into the shaker, the cocktail shaker full of ice. I love a good coffee drink.
I do too. It's funny because when we were planning out drinks, I put down a variation of a espresso martini. I was like, look at us on the same page.
That's wild.
It really
is.
All right.
So then you want to do 1 ounce of your cold brew.
I made this myself today.
What kind? Is it a Starbucks?
Yep. I know y'all said we're not supposed to be there, but I got plenty of Starbucks pods, and it is what it is.
I accidentally went into Target the other day, but it's okay. I'm gonna take it all back. A half ounce of your vanilla syrup. Is that freshly made syrup?
Yeah, it is. I did it myself, and I didn't use white sugar. I used the turbinado sugar, the raw sugar.
It's giving
only the best for you ladies.
I love that. Have you been watching With Love, Megan?
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
my mom is obsessed.
Now you're gonna shake all of these ingredients up. Shake that coffee, shake it, and shake it, and shake it, baby, shake it.
It's not good. My hands are cold.
I think you're good.
Okay.
Strain it into your martini glass.
All right.
Now, if we had a little cocoa dust, we would rim the martini with a little cocoa dust, but that also might start looking nasty. So we just got a clean, naked glass.
And it might be looking nasty like on our faces while we record.
Right. And then you want to, that was the perfect amount. Grab some of those coffee beans and sprinkle it right into the affair.
There we go. I did 6 because somebody told me 3 is good luck and we need double the luck. One of them fell down there. I don't know what that means. Anyway,
Enjoy.
Cheers. Welcome back to CockTales Dirty Discussions, you guys. I'm Kiki Setso.
I'm Medinah Monroe. Hey, y'all.
Hey, this drink is really tasty. The Affair, good recipe.
And you know, you got to be careful with those coffee recipes. At least I do.
Why?
Sometimes, like when I do a coffee cocktail, I'll do too much of something and not enough of the other.
Oh, to get like a good balance.
Yeah, to get a good, I actually like the flavor of coffee. Like I am very satisfied with the Affair. That's the name of the cocktail.
Not actually an affair, just the affair.
Just the
cocktail.
Affair. Y'all, before Kiki and I move on to our guest, I want to remind everybody that August 24th through the 27th, I will be at the Enchantment Retreat in Sedona, Arizona with Issa Rae and Paradise and Vibe. If you'd like to join us on this amazing wellness retreat, go to paradiseandvibe.com and tell them I sent you.
Okay, and we would like to introduce our guest. So we told you guys some time ago about going to a poly matchmaking event with Glamazon Tayomi.
It was fun.
It was. And while we were there, we were able to meet lots of different people. And the woman who coached and taught Tayomi how to do what it is that she's doing for these different potential poly matches is here with us today. Welcome, Tana. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you, ladies, both for having me.
Of
I'm so
course.
And you're Tayomi's mentor, correct?
I am. I am her mentor.
I think that's super dope.
Yes.
Are you from Atlanta?
No, I'm from Chicago, actually.
Come on, Chi-Town.
And so is Tayomi. She's from Chicago as well.
I think I knew that.
Yeah.
She's from Chicago.
So we spoke a little bit at the poly matchmaking event. You are not poly.
No.
Neither are we. We were all just there polying it up.
But non-judgmental, and I support her.
Non-judgmental at all. To the point where I was about to be in somebody's relationship. I was like, oh, okay, what y'all want to do this weekend?
I got hit on all night long.
It was fun to be in the environment and kind of dip and dabble in it. I am a dip and dabbler, not in the lifestyle, but I can go and be around people and have conversations.
I'm a supporter.
There we go.
Right.
And I find it interesting because I'm always curious about why people do relationships the way that they do and exploring different mindsets, because sometimes it'll open me up to look at things in a different way that I've never even considered. And that's something I can appreciate about the poly people that I met there. A lot of people said that they weren't. They were like us, but it was still cool to be there and meet people and learn some different things.
So
But we were
valuable.
really interested in the things that you were sharing with us. So you're a matchmaker, you're an intimacy coordinator, and you do all of these cool things. And then you were telling us about your own relationship.
Yes.
So I see the beautiful ring on your hand. You are married, right?
That's a wrap.
Okay.
I am.
Mhm.
23 years.
Oh my
23
goodness.
years.
So before we get to know a little bit about your business,
Uh-huh.
we are going to play a quick game of I'm Curious to Know. I'm Curious to Know is a card game that Kiki and I curated to help you get to know who you fucking. If you want to order it, go to I'mCuriousToKnow.com and get your deck now.
Okay. I'm curious to know, how do you feel about traditional gender roles in your relationship?
So there are no traditional gender roles in my relationship. We have a non-traditional, untraditional marriage. So, and we can talk about that now. We can talk about that a little bit later.
Give us a little
Yeah.
snippet of what's
So,
untraditional about it,
yes,
or non-traditional.
So our non-traditional, traditional marriage, if you will. So we live independently. We live separately. I live here in Atlanta. He lives in North Carolina, and it absolutely works. And how I arrived here, I filmed a show on Bravo a couple of years ago. And the show contracted us to live here. I mean, Bravo doesn't really play that. So you need to actually live in the place that you film. And so it just worked for me, and I stayed, and I had opportunity after
I'm not
opportunity
going back.
after opportunity, and it just
Right.
worked for me. And so I went to him and I was like, I really want to stay here. There are opportunities that are presented to me, and I want to just explore this a little longer. Will you allow me this time to do that? And he was like, absolutely.
Immediately, he was like, absolutely.
He's the most supportive person that I know. He was like, absolutely. Now let's talk about what that looks like.
It's like,
Right.
can I get some other draws?
Correct. Not necessarily. However, so it's really like, again, we have two separate homes, and I can do whatever. When I say whatever, it means that I live independently. I have other friends. I have other family members that come and visit me. I live like a single woman. However, I am married. So when he's in town, I am so married. I'm committed to him. I am cooking. I'm cleaning. massaging. Sexing. Whatever it is, I am she when he's here. And when I go back home, because we have another home in North Carolina, but when I'm here, I'm doing me, and it's perfectly okay with him.
Now, I'm curious to know, this is not on the card deck, but I am curious to know, living separately and independently, when you guys are separate, does that mean that you keep the finances completely separate? Like you pay for your home and he pays for the other home?
Great question. That is absolutely how we work. So he takes care of all the expenses in North Carolina at our home there, and I take care of all of the expenses here in Atlanta.
Wow.
Everything.
That is beautiful.
So when I say we live independently, we live independently.
Do you think it helps like keep it exciting when y'all are together, since y'all do have these extended periods apart?
It does, because it's almost like, we're dating all over again.
Yeah.
So, we look forward to it. We get on the calendar, we'll pull our calendars out and say, when are you coming? Or when am I coming there? Or we may meet somewhere else. And so it just, with 23 years, it becomes monotonous. Let's just say what it is. Like it becomes boring sometimes. It becomes monotonous. It becomes mundane. But you have got to create the spice and the zhuzh in the relationship, or it will fall flat. In most marriages, that's the case. So if anybody tells you it doesn't, they're lying. It does. They are lying. It does. It will fall flat. If you don't keep the spark, you have to create it. So it takes a creative person to make it happen.
Come on, creativity.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you right now?
Ooh, I would say a 10 plus.
Okay.
Absolutely. Let me tell you why.
Please do.
Let me tell you why. So a little bit about me. I was a teen mom. So I had my first child at 17. And so I had my child at 17. I went right away to school after that. And so I didn't stop from there. Then I had another child. Then I got married the first time. And then we got divorced. I married somebody that I really didn't know. So I had always lived with someone, or someone always lived with me. And I was always taking care of somebody else in my house. And then fast forward, I married my husband, and he had children, and he was a single father. So when I met him, he had 3 children. And so we were a whole Brady Bunch type of situation.
Yeah.
I had 2 children. He had 3. We had raised 5 kids in the house. So again, we've always had somebody living with us. And I've never lived alone until now in my entire life. Never lived alone. I didn't live on campus. I lived off campus. So I didn't have those experiences that normal people had. So now that my kids are grown, I have grandchildren. Like I am living my best whole life.
You
here
a
in these
different
Atlanta
type of
streets.
granny. What's your grandkids call you? I know they don't call you
Oma.
granny.
They call me Oma.
Come on.
Yeah, because my oldest grandson, he lives in Germany. So he was born in Germany. He's, that's his first language. So yeah, and German is and Oma is German.
Yeah, or Omi. My niece and nephew, their dad's mom
Really?
is German,
Yeah.
and they call her Omi.
Oh, they call her Oma.
Yeah.
So every other grandkid after that, they call me Oma, and I love it. I love it.
Oh, so cute.
I'm so happy for you. Live in your own space. You get to decorate it how you want to. Floral wallpaper, a black ceiling.
And it is such a vibe. Everybody that comes over to my house don't want to leave.
I'm coming over.
Okay. Come over. We'll do this. I
Have some
these
drinks.
chairs in green.
We just won't record it.
Yeah. We can have an uncensored
It's a whole
combo.
Vibe.
I love that.
It's a whole vibe.
Okay, this is my last one. What do you consider wife or husband only benefits?
Ooh, you know what? I don't. I consider those benefits what you make them. So you create your own.
No, but I mean you.
Oh, for me?
Yes, for you.
Okay. Wife for only benefits. You're not giving anybody else our money.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? No. Even though we live separately, when I need you, you're there for me. When you need me, I'm there for you. You're not going to be spending the money on anybody else.
I know
Because
that's
it's still
right.
household money.
Exactly.
Even though it's
We
over
just
there in
have
that
2
account.
homes.
Exactly. No, you're not doing that.
Yeah, don't play with me.
No, we're not doing that.
Okay, this is my last one, Tana. I'm curious to know, what type of gifts do you like to give and receive?
Ooh, so I like experiences. So if you think my love language isn't really gifts, I mean, I can buy myself gifts, but that doesn't really, I don't
Tickle
really
you.
shimmy with that. So when you create an experience like a trip, a vacation, bump me up to first class. Do that. Plan something that I've never experienced. I'm all about creating memories. I'm a memory queen. Like you're gonna get a memory with me, and I expect the same. So create a memory.
And let
Create
me
some
ask you this.
experiences.
Does the memory or the experience always have to be something luxurious, or can it be something fun?
No, not at all. So again, if you've never, if I know that someone has never gone horseback riding, I'm gonna create a whole vibe. So we're gonna do a picnic, we're gonna do a horseback ride, we're going to stop and have some cocktails, like all of that. So that's a memory, that's an experience. That's all of what, $100?
It's funny that you say horseback riding because I was literally thinking that. I went horseback riding with somebody and it was on his bucket list. He had never done it before and he was just so excited. It was like watching a little kid go to like Six Flags or something. It's just like, oh, it's so cool, and riding the horse. And I'm like, oh, I've done it. You've never done it. So we went and did it and it was fun. And it's nice when you're thinking about dates, if you can give somebody an experience for the first time, it really is cool to do that.
Because guess what? They're going to always remember you. They'll never remember who they went to see Star Wars with.
They won't.
But they'll always remember who they went horseback riding with.
And quick plug really quick, since we're talking about horseback riding, and I always love to plug Black businesses. If you are in Atlanta or in the Atlanta area, there is a Black-owned farm. It's called Soofa Ranch, Soofa Ranch. It is Black-owned. And every time I go horseback riding there, I volunteered there before. I've taken lessons there before. And it's just, I love the people. Husband and wife own it. They give lessons. They give an experience. If you want to have a date night or date day there, you can have a picnic, go riding, have drink. It's just such an experience. So if you guys are wanting to plan some sort of horseback riding date, go to superranch.com.
Yeah, it's warming up. It's about time to get outside and be one with nature.
Yeah.
Next up.
Okay, so I'm curious to know. If you'd like to order the game, go to I'mCuriousKnow.com and order it now. Okay.
Wait, it's time for Weird Sex.
Come on, Weird Sex.
You said a man is not a necessity, a man is a luxury.
Like dessert. Yeah. A man is absolutely not a necessity.
Did you mean that to sound mean and bitter?
Oh, not at all. I adore dessert. I love men. I think men are the coolest. But you don't really need them to live.
I don't know know about you guys, but life has been really, really busy lately. And one thing that I love to do when I finally steal a few minutes for myself is to recharge with a good book. Not only do I enjoy the books that we read in my book club, but I just enjoy reading. I love. Hey, so you guys, this week's Weird Sex, it really is a weird story. So there's a story that's been going around. I don't know if y'all have seen it. Hopefully not, so that you don't even see craziness like this on your timeline. But there's a story about a throuple, and there's a man who got a woman and her mother pregnant by the same guy, right? And one of them in the throuple, I think it's the guy, is a YouTuber, and they're posting these videos and they're sharing how they're all so excited. And the mama in the throuple is going to have whatever junior. And then the other one, it's like Nick Jr. And then Nicole, the daughter, is having a girl. All of it was a lie. Right? Oh. They're not really pregnant, but the part, well, not all of it is a lie. The pregnancy was a lie. It was a scheme that they set up to go viral, right? And it worked. But they say that they really are in a throuple.
The mom, the daughter, and the man.
Mm-hmm. And I just think that they all need to go to jail and then therapy in that order. Because what is going on? Like, that is wild to want to share a man with your mama. Like we said earlier, you know, you can have a poly relationship, but let's leave it outside of the family. There's so many people out here. Y'all need to call Glamazon Tayomi and get your own polycule going.
A man with your mama. I don't even share a fork with my mom. My mom was here a few weeks ago and she ate off my fork. I said, I don't know what I'm doing with my mouth.
Exactly. And I don't know what you're doing. That's what, okay. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I feel you on that. And now y'all are sharing a whole man and his penis and letting it just do all sorts of things inside of you. Oh, well, I'm going to keep them on the prayer list because they need to be delivered from the pits of hell where they are at. But y'all keep sending me these wild stories. I'm going to start fact checking stuff because it's so much stuff that y'all send me and I be looking it up and the shit is not real. And it's not that I'm ignoring you, but some of this is just really far-fetched and fabricated. But the fact that they are in a throuple is wild.
It is wild.
Mm-hmm. Let's be honest, y'all. Sometimes, no matter how much you really, really, really want to be in the mood, your mind and your body just aren't on the same page. That has happened to me more often than not. And this episode is sponsored by our friends at Viia, the brand behind the most loved THC libido gummy on the market, designed to enhance intimacy, heighten pleasure, and help you fully embrace the moment. Originally created as a limited edition Valentine's Day release, High Love was such a massive hit. Y'all know we talk about it all the time, that Viia made it a permanent part of their lineup. Thank God. For the last 2 years, it's been helping adults enhance intimacy, heighten pleasure, and feel more connected than ever. We can't tell you how many people have slid in our DMs and let us know that High Love has been helping them out. High Love is crafted with a powerful blend of cannabinoids and time-tested aphrodisiac herbs to bring you an experience like no other. With Damiana leaf for passion, maca root for energy, and horny goat weed, this formula is designed to increase blood flow, awaken your senses, and help you fully embrace the moment. Whether you're looking to ignite chemistry with a partner or indulge in unforgettable self-care, this is a gummy that delivers. Trusted by over 500,000 happy customers, Viia is known for their award-winning THC and THC-free gummies. There's something for everybody. Soothing topicals and even calming drops, all made with organic, lab-tested hemp from trusted independent American farms. And the best part, Viia legally ships nationwide. Discreet, direct to your door, no medical card required, and backed by a worry-free guarantee. So if you're 21 or over, treat yourself to Viia's annual Spring 420 sale. Black Friday level savings right now in April. Savings up to 35% site-wide. Right now, up to 50% off packs and bundles, and you get a free gift plus more savings with your very first order using our exclusive code CockTales, CockTales, at the link in our description. Plus, enjoy free shipping on orders over $100. I want to remind you guys that you can get your CBD gummies whether you're looking to focus, relax, dream big, or just elevate your mood. There is something for everybody. Their products range from 0 milligrams to 100 milligrams of THC, so these guys have you covered whether you're looking to microdose or enjoy a little bit more potent effects. If you're 21 or over, check out the link in our description and treat yourself to Viia's annual Spring 420 sale. Black Friday level savings up to 35% site-wide. Right now, up to 50% off packs and bundles, and get a free gift plus more savings with your first order using our exclusive code CockTales. Plus, enjoy free shipping on orders over $100. That's code CockTales, CockTales, at the link in our description. After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please, please, please support our show and tell them we sent you. Enhance your everyday with Viia.
Okay, Tana. Now, your primary business, matchmaker.
Yes.
What got you into that line of work?
Oh gosh. So I do have a business partner with that business, with my matchmaking business, and both of us had gone through some relationship struggles, and she was separated from her husband and eventually divorced from her husband, and I separated from my husband. We eventually got back together, but during that time we supported each other, and we were both VPs and executives in marketing. So we would travel all over the world closing deals. And so what we did learn together as two Black women who didn't really share what was going on personally, we had the same household struggle and didn't even talk about it, right? Worked together for years and
Law of
years
attraction.
and years. Years and years and years we were together traveling 4 days a week and never shared what was going on in our home, because sometimes Black women just don't share, right? And so we found ourselves in many situations in the boardroom where people were just telling us all their business. I mean, C-level executives just telling us everything. And so we realized, we're really good at giving advice. And so we decided to go back to school, get credentialed, be credentialed in certified relationship coaching, date coaching, and matchmaking. And so once we opened up our doors, we quit our corporate job within 2 months because we had so much business that we couldn't do both. 2 months. Yeah, our first day of business, we were featured in the New York Post, and so we were national immediately. So, and then we did interview after interview and went viral. And within 2 months, we said we can't do this corporate job. We gave up mid six figure corporate cushy jobs and never looked back. Never looked back. Right. And it's been almost 13 years. Never look back.
That's amazing. I want to know, when you are getting your clients, so y'all stay booked and busy, what would you say are like the most common reasons that you find that clients are coming to you to help them find love versus doing it the old-fashioned way?
Yeah. So our clientele is primarily affluent, progressive, single Black women who've never been married and no children, but desire that. And most of them are surgeons, doctors, business owners, celebrities, those types of politicians. And they didn't have any relationship skills. They were never taught. Most of us were never taught growing up. We have these grandmothers with 10, 12 kids and nobody talked about how they got them. Nobody. True. Nobody, so they came to us with zero relationship experience because we were told, you go to school as Black women, you go to school, you get your education, you climb, you grind. And then eventually you get into corporate and you continue to climb and you prove yourself. Books before boys. That's what we were all taught, right? Books before boys. Don't even look back. Love will find you.
And then it finds you, and you're like,
"No, what
the fuck do I do with it?"
Listen, no, it don't find you.
Oh, it'd be finding me. No. Oh, but I'm not a doctor, a surgeon, or a lawyer.
Because they spent half their life in school, and so love doesn't find them. And you roll over at 45 or 40 years old, and it's cold. There's nothing there, but you can't cuddle with that degree.
Your dog, and your vibrator.
You know what I'm saying? Really?
If the vibrator don't die and if the dog ain't dead.
And if you didn't charge it, then you just screwed.
I had about 3 weeks of episodes complaining about mine being dead and burnt up.
You need to back up, girl. You need to back up and you need to charge them on rotation.
It was like 10 of them. They were just all gone. I went through a drought. But anyway, yeah, I re-upped.
The way that you said all of that, it really is somebody's story. It is a lot of stories where it's
thousands of women. It's their story. And so they wake up and there's like, oh my gosh, I don't have anybody. And what do I do? Not only do I not have anybody, I don't even have the skills to know where to find them. So that's when they come. That's when they come. So then, and we've never paid a dime for advertising in 12, 13 years. Not one dime in advertisement. Not at all. And so they come to us, and they come to us with zero experience. So they don't know how to flirt. They don't know how to communicate. They don't have conflict resolution. They don't have any of those things. Not any of it. So we spend time coaching them to prep them for a relationship. It's a disservice for me to sit you in front of somebody and you don't have the skill set to transition the relationship, right? So we spend a whole 2 months or so just coaching before. It's going to be 2 months before you sit down with anybody in our program.
Now, the men that you are matching them up with, are these men who are coming to you and paying for matchmaking services or what as well? Or where do you source them from?
No. So we have so many ways that we source. We have recruiters that work for us all over the country that we may send out to hunt for them. And then because we're looking for somebody specific, some matchmakers do. They match client to client. We don't. And here's why. Because the person that I have for you may not be a client. Why would I match you with somebody who is, if you're 45 and he's 28, not a match, not a match
at all.
So they're just trying to fulfill a contract. We are heart hunting on your behalf.
I love that. It's like there's bounty hunters, there's house hunters,
there's head hunters.
We are heart hunting on your behalf because your person is different from her person, right? And my person, different. So we have the responsibility and been charged to go find them. So we have a database of 13 years of people that have been singles that join our community. We have an elite bow community with our elite men. We have
the rich men.
Well.
Or the fine men?
Well, a little bit of both. A little bit of both, right? Okay. Some would say high value. I really don't like that. I hate that term. But some would call it that. But that is premium.
So what type of woman do you put with a high value man? Does she have to look a certain way, talk a certain way?
No. It just depends. Again, it's specific to your individual needs. And we don't know what that is until we meet with you, until we really kind of hone in on what it is that you're looking for.
And do something that we talked about this, what you do is a strategy session.
Yeah, we have a strategy session.
What does a strategy session entail?
Yeah, so it's just a series of questions that we ask to get to know your past challenges, get to know a little bit more about your personality, tell you a little bit more about our services to even decide if we may even take you, because we don't take everybody. Yeah, if we're a good fit to work together.
What's something that makes you say, we're not going to be able to help her or him?
Great question. It's somebody that we don't think is coachable. Because if you're not going to listen to me, it's a waste of my time and a waste of your investment.
What is a question you could ask somebody that lets you know they're not going to listen?
What was your contribution to the failed relationships that you've had?
And if they say nothing,
I ain't
not
do nothing
me.
Wrong. I didn't do anything. I don't know. I can't think of anything. It wasn't me.
That person lacks accountability.
There's always a contribution. There's something. What is one thing that he complained about with you? Because you're not together for a reason, and not necessarily that it's your fault completely. But tell me some of the things that he complained about. He or she. Complained about.
Even if his complaint made sense, like maybe it's like you stopped having sex, but you stopped having sex because you knew he was cheating on you. So you're like, and that's why maybe
that was his reason, right? And so let's talk.
But you should still be able to say that.
Just exactly. Be comfortable admitting to your own faults. Be comfortable looking into the mirror and asking, what was my contribution to this failed relationship?
Yeah, and how do you move on from that? So, okay, so let's say you're doing your strategy session and this person does seem coachable. And so you take them on as a client. What does it look like from approval after the strategy session to maybe the first date that you match them up with?
Oh, I have a first date going on as we speak.
And
I feel so good about this one. I feel so good about, I'm usually never wrong when it comes to, sometimes you just have that feeling, that discernment. It's like, I feel really good about it. I can't wait to, when I leave here, call and find out what happened.
Yeah.
Because they're on a date right now. But I just feel like from the time there's a strategy session, again, we're going through coaching because if it hasn't worked for you in all this time and you don't have any skills, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to say to this person. You don't know even what questions to ask. You don't know to listen intently. You don't know how to regurgitate the conversation. None of those things. You don't know how to express your needs. There's so many different things. And long gone are the days that our needs don't, go unmet. So we coach our clients to know your needs will be met in this next relationship. Let me teach you how.
Have you ever had a client call you and she's on the date and they're like, he just asked me, I don't know what to say.
No.
Okay. They're prepared. Okay, they're prepared.
Because we coach them well. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We coach them well. Now, sometimes if he's super fine, they clam up.
That would be me.
So,
yes.
So you know what? When they don't think that they're that attractive, they're
it's
like,
easier.
It's okay.
This is like practice.
But when they're super fine, they start stuttering. They don't know what to say. It's a whole thing.
They get weak in the knees. I already know.
Yeah, it's a real thing. And so you have to walk in with confidence and know that this, his is lucky day to have you sitting beside him or sitting next to him. We've coached them, have that confidence, build that. And yeah, you're about to get the experience of your life.
Have you ever been out or maybe in the airport? I keep seeing in the airport and you're just like, this woman or this man is so attractive. I would love to have them on my roster. Have you ever approached someone and been like, I would love to match you with someone? Do you ever play that game?
Only men, because I have a plethora of women.
Okay.
We have a plethora of women. We don't
too
need
many women to match.
No, the men. There's always a shortage. There's always a shortage. So if we're in the airport, and we love the airport, especially a good lounge. The lounges are fantastic because then it shows that they have discretionary income, they have disposable income. Either they're traveling for work or pleasure. They have money. They have some level of success or money. So that's a great place to find somebody. We even encourage our clients, go to the airport a couple hours early. Most of the time they're running to the gate just trying to get there on time.
Baby, once I got my lounge access, I was getting to the airport early.
Me too. I'm going to have breakfast. I'm going to have a couple of mimosas.
Okay.
We're going to sit here and chit chat. I'm gonna
see who's in here.
I'm going to work. I'm going to do all of that and just watch. People watch to see who's, and then, you look for rings and stuff like that. And then you walk up and have conversations and, ask them, give them a compliment, ask them if they're single, tell them about our business, invite them to join our Elite Bow database. And, and that's how we recruit. And that's how we've trained our recruiters to go across the country and do that.
Do they ever think that you're just flirting with them?
Yes.
Before you tell them about the business, and they be like, "Well, damn."
Well, so I think that they do. They're flattered, right? Because who doesn't welcome a compliment, right?
Right.
Love
so
that.
they're flattered, and they think I want them, but I don't.
I'm working, baby.
I'm married.
I don't, and I don't always wear my ring, especially when I'm traveling. So. But I am not a shy person and I will walk up to anybody. There's no strangers to me.
What's your zodiac sign?
Libra.
Are you a
She is
September Libra or
too.
October
I'm an
Libra?
October 3rd Libra.
Okay. Y'all a little different, but I love a Libra. I mean, I'm Libra, Libra gang. Okay, so speaking of marriage and rings and all that good stuff, your second business is couples coaching.
Yes.
And one thing that stood out to me when you were talking to me was one of the main things she's out here helping the couples with, the married couples, Kiki, sexless marriages.
It's my number one. It's the number one go-to. That's why most couples come and see me. Sexual incompatibility, sexless marriage, number one.
The incompatibility, what's usually going on there?
Communication.
Somebody just scared to speak up?
And
Y'all better sign up on Masterclass, masterclass.com/CockTales and check out shampoo room sessions.
Yes, and yes. So the communication, one is like, I'm afraid to say what I like because they might judge me or they might think that I'm a freak or they might look at me in a way. You're married to this whole person that you don't even know.
Right.
Really.
We say this all the time. Y'all be with these people and you
don't
don't know them. What have you been doing?
Yes.
What
have you talked about?
Have you
in 10
talked
years?
about?
And then I'm wondering, with sex, I know I be doing things ass backwards, right? But it is just so beyond me to think that I've been married to somebody for any amount of time and we ain't talked about all the nasty things that I might think I want to try. Like I would have done that probably by the third date,
But then also I think Kiki and myself even, we are unique. We talk about, even before we had CockTales, We was talking about sex even before you was having sex. I was talking to you about sex stuff, and you were open to it. Like we've always had like this.
I find it interesting.
Open ear, and now we really talk about it, and now we're even more comfortable in talking about it. Even when I'm uncomfortable talking about it with a partner, like I still find a way to work it in, even if I'm playing a game.
And I know I'm going to say, this is something that I'm interested in. And either you can get with it or you cannot.
That easy, Kiki. It is not that easy for people to have those conversations.
I can tell.
Clearly.
And I specialize in the tough talks. Let me help you mediate these conversations, because what they're afraid to say, I am not. I will say it in a way that he or she is going to receive it and receive it well. And I'll have that conversation with them in a way that, listen, we're going to create a safe space, non-judgmental. Let's just talk about it. And sometimes I'll form the question as if I were asking, right? Not her, not him. Let me just ask you a question. How do you feel about da 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 da? And I'll have both of them answer the question, and they're looking at each other like, love those aha moments, because they had no idea that the other person felt the same way. But here's the thing. So a story, had a gentleman approach me about, I don't know, maybe 15 years or so ago. Very nice looking man, strapping, everything great. And he was like, I really want to get to know you. And I'm just sitting there listening, and I'm smitten, right? I'm smitten by it because he's attractive, successful, like all the things. I was like, what would your wife think? Oh, no. I said, why don't you get permission from your wife and then come talk to me? And I was just testing him to see what he was going to say. Yeah. Oh, no, my wife would never. You don't know what your wife would think. You don't know what your wife would say, because have you ever had that conversation? Absolutely not. I know her well.
So you would rather.
But did you have the conversation, you know?
And they're not willing to. And I was just testing him to see what he would say. But just to prove my theory, no, you're not comfortable having the conversation with her. Let's just say that. Now that you know her well, you think you know her well.
And you actually don't know it.
You don't.
And
you
even
don't
if she would
thinking.
say absolutely not, and I can't even believe I'm saying this as someone who does aspire for marriage, I would wholeheartedly appreciate you bringing it to me. That you out here just slinging dick.
Yes.
And I don't even get, now it's bitches in my DMs, and that's how I'm finding out that you met the bitch at the American Express lounge. How you know I ain't want to, like, just bring it. That's what we said we would do. We said we would be honest with each other.
Oh yeah, they say that. No, they don't.
It's just one of those things that people say.
I'm telling you now, I wouldn't have a practice if that were the case. No, they're not honest with each other. They're not honest with their true feelings because they're afraid of judgment.
Have you found in your work which sex is not honest the most? It would be the women or the men? Is it normally like the man has this desire and he's not speaking?
The man, for sure. I get more men. So it's interesting because I get more men that come to me for coaching, for sex and intimacy coaching. They convince the wife to come. Yeah, so I get more men approach me like, you know what happened? It's been 5 years
since they had sex together.
In a whole
I'm
marriage.
actually not shocked by that. I know someone right now where it's been
correct.
It's been 5 years.
It hasn't been 5, but it's been 3.
No. There's 12 years. How do you?
Wait a minute.
They're just cohabitating at this point.
You're right.
What have you found that makes either one? What I'm assuming is normally the woman who doesn't want to have sex anymore. What is the reason? Is it because he don't deserve no pussy?
No.
Is it a medical malfunction?
Did she get big?
All of those things. So every single one of those things are a factor. And so one is they're no longer attracted to each other, or one or both are going through something medically, whether it's erectile dysfunction, low libido, or whatever, and they just can't perform, and or I just don't like you anymore. I'm here for the kids.
It's a cold hard truth.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not feeling you anymore. I'm not attracted to you anymore. One or both have gained weight. And then ultimately, we're just lazy. Let's just say that we're lazy. We've gotten monotonous in this marriage. We're raising these kids. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're just doing life and not doing each other.
But like, and speak to the women on this because, again, I'm not married. I don't got nobody's kids. And I still get tired. However, I be looking at women and how women truly are the backbone of a household and of a family.
Say it.
If the bitch gets tired, I'm like, I get it. How can you breastfeed, take care of the kids, take care of him, cook the food, deal with his mama, take him to school, and now I gotta fuck you.
And go to work.
Guess what?
And go to work.
And you know what? Here's the thing. All these men need to do is take some shit off their plate, right? And the pennies will just slide down, right? One
Okay,
by one.
make
Bras
my
coming
way.
off, like fold some clothes.
Get a nanny for me.
Wash the dishes. You know, have somebody come and clean the house so I don't have to worry about it when I get home and I have more time for you.
Is that what you end up telling them? Like, okay, this is just a...
Oh, I create a whole schedule and spreadsheet. So this is what we're going to invest in now. So not only are you going to invest in me and my business, you're going to invest in a housekeeper. You're going to invest in a nanny, some help, get a babysitter. You're going to take some stuff off of her plate. If that's indeed the case, if that's her, you know, her thing is like, you know what? I'm tired.
So now you can't be tired and you
correct.
You can't
because
complain.
She's going to sleep. She's going to sleep.
Yeah.
And so you can't come home excited, penis hard as I don't know what, and expect to get it. No, we're not doing that, right? Because she don't want it. She's asleep. She's gonna take every opportunity that she can to get a few Z's in. So what you can do is start stimulating her mentally all day long. I miss you. I want to see you. I can't wait to get home. Send Uber Eats to the house so the dinner's already made, right?
I love a food delivery.
Yes.
That is something I like real
them
bad.
food
You know
to
what
the
makes me
house.
really happy?
What?
It's if you invest in my beauty treatments. If you're just like, go get your hair done. Not even that I need it done,
go
or
to the spa.
go get a little Botox.
Yeah.
That is where I'm
Well,
going.
that's your love language. Not everybody.
A beauty treatment? I'm fucking you all day. You ain't gonna have, you gonna be tired.
Yeah, it's like if you give a woman, if you take some things off of her plate.
Yes.
And also show her that you thought of it.
Yes,
It wasn't something that she had to beg and
No.
plead for.
She
Like
didn't-
that will
no.
help because outside of feeling tired and like needing help, you also want to feel appreciated.
Yes.
And it's like you're
Value.
doing all of this stuff. I'm
Absolutely.
going to sleep. I'm not sucking your dick
No,
because I
right.
got to think about what I'm cooking for
Correct.
breakfast,
Correct.
permission slips, field
Correct.
trips, work, spreadsheets, working
You
out.
checking
Probably
homework.
not.
You're doing all of that.
Trying to remember how to do fucking algebra.
Yes. And it's 10 o'clock. And these kids was like, you got to sign my paper. You got to check my homework.
Mommy,
I
mommy,
forgot.
mommy.
Oh, I got cookies to bring tomorrow.
We're having a bake sale. You signed up. Like, excuse me?
Like, I'm going to sleep.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And these men don't understand how much it entails to be that career working woman. There's no work-love balance. There isn't, right?
Yeah.
Love balance.
Work-love balance. So again, take some shit off her plate. Take it. I mean, I'm telling you, if they just listen to me, you know, if they just listen to me, take it off her plate and you'll see a difference, right? And not just one time, but make it consistent. Make it a part of your routine. Because one time you're gonna get tail one time.
And
If you get it, she gotta like get back into some energy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
don't do it and be mad doing it.
Right. Oh.
That's
That's
another thing.
That don't work.
That don't work.
No,
You like,
it
well, here
doesn't
go
work at
little,
all.
here goes money. Go get your hair braided. Nigga, take your money. I don't even want to do it anymore. You're getting on my nerves.
Right. It's like hurry up. Like I'm gonna just lay here.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
I
So
don't
that's not
want
that's
that.
not the sex that you want. That's not the
Mhm.
love making and the passion that you want. And if you want her to feel appreciated and loved and valued, you know, just try a few of these things and make it consistent. Even if it's, let's start off with once a week, right? Start off with once a week, and then, you know, maybe a couple times a week, just something. It doesn't have to be, oh, you know, housekeeper every other day. No, at least every couple of weeks, let's start with the housekeeper. How about this? How about you come in the house and you start mating some socks? How about this? You know, you have a
You
bunch
clean
of
the
kids,
toilet bowl.
There's a community sock basket that everybody said that is the. It's like
I
the
do
worst
think that
thing.
in relationships,
Yes.
both parties should experience what we need to have a crisscross day. Like, let me see what you do and you see what I do. And so we can have a better appreciation for each other.
They'll never make it.
They won't.
No, they won't. They won't.
It
survive.
won't get done.
They'll
All
say,
kind of stuff gonna be thrown
But
away.
they'll have a better appreciation
Mm-hmm.
for what women go through and what they do. But yes, so if he comes in and again takes some things off of her plate, to allow more time for relaxation. You know what? While I'm getting the kids to bed, you go take a hot bath.
And I'm also thinking, and if you don't already have this in your business plan, because I'm sitting here thinking, as someone who has never been married before, and how, people tell you do premarital counseling and the therapy and stuff before marriage, it seems like it might also make sense to do some premarital matchmaking. So while you don't need to already be matched because you found your match, I want to know what you're teaching the people so that we can avoid this.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, how do we stay rejuvenated to still, I understand life is still going to life and we're going to get tired and the stuff is going to get boring at some point. But how do we get to the point where we already have this understanding of, okay, me deciding I'm not giving you sex, or you deciding whatever it is that you're not going to do that you've been doing that you're not going to do that. Like, is there a way to stay clear of that?
Yeah, so I would say that it, and this may sound again cliche, but it's just communication. If they don't have the tough talks, you'll never know. You'll never know. So I would really recommend the communication is key. Even games like this, even we call it the fishbowl game. You write 10 questions. You write 10 questions. We throw them all in the fishbowl, in the bowl, and you pull a question out and we both answer that question. You're constantly understanding each other. My husband and I played that game during quarantine because we had to, because there was nothing else to do.
Right.
And I was still learning. And this was probably we were at year 19, year 20. I was still learning things about him at 20 years. So you constantly learn your partner. You constantly get to know who your partner is, and so there's no way but to just continue to talk and set time aside to talk. And I think that's the problem. I think that sometimes when we have children, as women have children, everything is about the kids. Everything is about the kids. And then the kids grow up and leave, they go to college, and then you're staring at somebody that you don't even know. And you don't have anything to talk about. You don't have any commonalities. You have to recreate that and resurrect what brought you together in the first place.
Now, you also help repair marriages after an affair.
Yes.
That sounds like tough work.
It is, affair recovery. So I have a whole affair recovery program for that very reason, because just for example, what we just discussed, there's monotony, somebody's bored, somebody's unattractive to whatever that is. And then there's infidelity, right? And so you decide that you want to exhaust all options before a divorce. So how do we do that? Let's talk about how bad you want the marriage. Let's talk about the pros and cons of staying married, keeping the family together, whatever it is. Some people, have affairs and they don't even have any kids. So they do. And so it's like, what was it about what was the contribution to it? So let's talk about that. And having them be able to sit and explain it with no judgment, that's the tough part, because usually it gets real heated, right? So sometimes I'm the one communicating and I just ask them to just listen. I'm the one that's communicating. You just be quiet and you just listen, and you can't talk until you raise your paddle.
It's paddles?
It's a paddle.
I might smack somebody with it, but what is a reason or a way that people who are going through this affair recovery program, what's a reason that, or a way that helps them stay together and to be able to move past the affair and still love each other and not kill each other?
Yeah. So I think it's at the end of the day, was this affair worth it? Was it worth the risk? And so I ask, because it's not always the men that have affairs. Sometimes it's the women.
And they're in the same room.
I could see that.
They're in the same room. So was this affair worth the risk? And most of the time they say, no, it wasn't. So, and I've always said that when there's an affair, right? When somebody's cheating. When men get caught, it's because they're sloppy. When women get caught, it's because she no longer cares. She no longer cares. Yeah.
So the women are typically like, I'm leaving.
Yeah, because she's emotionally disconnected from you because of whatever you've done, right? She's emotionally disconnected. She's checked out. So typically, I see more recovery when it's the man who's had the affair than the woman. Because when she decides that she's done and she's found somebody and she's satisfied and he's making her feel these feelings that were resurrected that she hadn't felt in many years, it's usually done.
What about when she has the affair and she admits it wasn't worth it and the man is having a hard time forgiving her? Do you have ever situations where they are able to move past that, or is it usually like done deal?
No, they're able to move past it because at the end of the day, so men don't want to be embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole thing. So they don't want to be embarrassed. They're like, who knows about this? Mm-hmm. So we can keep it hush hush and keep it quiet in our house, and we can work on this privately. Then they have probably a better success rate of rebuilding and recovery, right? But if everybody knows, he got his boys talking about him, he got his colleagues talking about him, he got, he's like, I'm over it. And he could want their marriage and want their relationship, but because other people know about it, his manhood won't let him recover.
It's that ego.
Mm-hmm. His
Do you ever? I feel like if I was helping people repair after affair, I am someone where I think about vows so much. Mm-hmm. And again, I am not married, but I don't be understanding, like, have you ever had someone like repeat their vows while they're sitting in front of you to each other? Because I honestly don't understand why people be like, for better or for worse. And then the worst comes and all of it. And the worst can look different in everybody's relationship. Yeah. It could be cheating. It could be the death of a child. It could be somebody gets fat. They're not cute anymore. Like it could just be a lot. Like, and it's like the worst comes and everybody be like, bye. Yeah. Nope. I'm not. Why do vows even exist?
People quit easily. I mean, people are quitters. They do. They quit stuff easily. They're not really in it for the long haul. Not like they used to be. Not like back in the day when your grandparents, aunts and uncles from back in the day, they would just stay married just because. But that doesn't mean it was right or mean it was healthy. Mm-hmm, it just means that they were taught and led to believe that you just stay.
No matter what. Not necessarily
it was a healthy relationship, but they just stayed. Right? So now we don't have to stay. If it's not working, we don't have to stay. So I respect that you value vows. I respect that. I love that about you, and keep that, right? But a lot of people don't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. So they forget about those vows, especially we're 20 years into it. You know what I mean? So sometimes it will come into play when something catastrophic happens, and you have to be there to support your partner or your spouse when something happens, something life-changing happens, a death, an illness, those types of things.
An illegitimate child.
Correct. All the things, because that happens, right? And so you just have to make a decision. Am I in this for the long haul or am I out? Am I out?
And I think that's the part that personally scares me about marriage, because it makes me really rethink some things and be like, okay, I don't really want to do it if I'm not going to be in it for the long haul. And like me trying to like discover what is that spectrum for me? Could I do? I really do want to believe in for better or for worse.
Absolutely. And you should.
Yeah. And just like understanding, like you won't know what the worst is for real.
You don't.
So now it makes
through it.
You and I spoke on the phone and we talked about you and your husband. You guys live separately. You guys have been through some things.
Yes, we
split up for a moment even. But you fought for your marriage.
I did.
And it made me want to ask you, what does fighting for a marriage look like and how do people do it? How did you do it?
Oh, how did I do it? I love to share this story. So 2.5 years, we decided to separate. And so most people was like, was it infidelity? Well, there was infidelity on both parts, right? But that wasn't why we separated. So while we separated was because finances, I was bad with money. I mean, I built a whole house, a 4,200 square foot house, and he didn't even know it. He said that He said we couldn't move. We had all these kids. I was like, no, we need a bigger house. He was like, Tana, the kids are going to college soon. You know, we're gonna, this house is fine. I was like, no, because I make over again. I emasculated him. All the things. You know, I said, no, I don't. I said to myself, I don't need your money. I don't need your credit. I'm gonna go and do this. So me and my oldest son, you know, we went to a builder. And
Tana said,
Tana, you sound like some shit I would do.
Tana said,
Because you got me fucked up. I worked too damn hard.
go get the land. Go get
This
it.
house is tiny. I was like, you said I can't what? So yeah, so I went and built a whole house.
And you realize now that was a problem.
Oh, it was a whole problem because we ended up having to short sell the house because I couldn't afford it because he wouldn't help me pay for it.
He said, I'm going to show you.
You know, so yeah, built a whole house. And it was, you know, I made sure the kids stayed in the school district. And
Yeah, some considerations there.
the kids stayed in the school district. And I made sure that everybody had their own room and he had his space and I had my space. And it was gorgeous. But I had to tell him 2 weeks before we closed because in North Carolina at the time, I needed his signature
Oh,
to
yeah.
close. I didn't need his signature to buy it, but I needed his signature to close on it. So and I told him, he was like, what? I mean, I'm over here picking out granite and picking out
You are moving forward.
Yes, the house was built. Yes. I was so wrong on every level. Every level. I realize that now, right?
Yeah.
Every level. So he was like, well, he didn't want to move in. He was like, this is too big of a house. It's too much money. The economy's not right. I was like, well, listen, I'm going, right? So you can come or you can stay here, but I'm moving into this house. It was my dream house. And he came with, but you know, so we were in there a few years, 4 or 5 years, and then the economy crashed. And I got laid off on my cushy corporate job. I couldn't afford it on my own. And I'm looking at him for some money and he wouldn't give it to me.
He was like, I told you.
I thought you had it.
I told you this years ago.
Right, facts. He was teaching me a lesson. And I was so upset with him for that because I was like, you left me hanging. But in reality, you know, I shouldn't have done it in the first place. And so I learned a valuable lesson. So we ended up separating, short sold the house, moved to 2 different areas, right? And then, so during that, the question you asked me was, what did me fighting for my marriage look like? So during that 2 years, I moved out. I did some self-reflection where I got some spiritual guidance and some spiritual healing and stopped pointing the finger at him and looked in the mirror. What was my failed contribution? Same comment I talked to you guys about earlier. What was my failed, contribution to this, what was my contribution to the failed marriage?
Yeah.
What was it that I did? What was my part? Because what I realized, I can't change this man. He's a whole grown man, but I can change me. Okay. And so once I did this self-discovery, this self-healing therapy, spiritual guidance, like all of that, I went back to him. And we were dating other people at the time. I mean, I had somebody that I was in a relationship with. He had somebody he was in a relationship with. And I went back to him thinking that, he would just come back.
Welcome
because
you
I
back.
was, I'm like, oh, I'm tired of playing. I'm tired of playing.
I figured my shit out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hello, I'm back, baby.
Yes, right. Let's So I said, I'm ready to try this again. And he was like, I'm good. I was devastated.
I would be like, excuse me?
He's like, I'm good. I was like, you good?
What you mean?
I'm ready now. It's me. No, I'm good. I could not believe it. I couldn't believe that he didn't want me back. And he didn't. And so I had to swallow that.
Hey, but y'all were still legally married.
We were still legally married. We were dating other people. We were separated, living separately for 2.5 years. Living in separate states for 2.5 years. And then, but I fought for it. And I was like, well, let's just play it by ear. I didn't give up. So I was like, let me just go back and let's try to date again. So I would plan things. I would, come home for whatever. And he was dating somebody that was younger. She was cute.
Were you mad?
I was disappointed and hurt. So I wasn't angry at all because we were still friends during this time. And we've never, believe it or not, we've never like argued. Like we've never like raised our voice at each other. We've never cursed each other out. We never, even though we decided that we weren't rowing the same way during that time, it was amicable, right? But we didn't have that type of, he's not that type of dude.
I do wonder if it has something to do with like you both also could financially take care of yourselves. Like, so that took like a level of stress off. It's not like you were like, I feel like people get to screaming and acting crazy when it's like you need the person to like help. You went and lived your life and you didn't need him to help you live your life. And he did the same thing.
So yes and no. So we struggled a little bit separately. We did because the economy was horrible at the time. And we did struggle during that time. And I feel like we'd be better together. Right. And so that was one of the reasons why, you know, I went back and said, we can do this together. I mean, we're really good together. I've done some self-reflection. Let's try it again.
I did my part. Oh, I'm so sorry, baby.
Remember the vows.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
But
so
no,
sorry.
he didn't want to get back initially. So eventually, you know, I left it alone once I realized that he wasn't coming back. I left it alone. And he called me one day and he's like, you know, let's try it again. And I
know you was happy.
floored. Well, he called me, I was asleep on the couch and he called me and I had already I filed for a divorce, but I didn't like file. I got the paperwork. And so he called me up and I was laying asleep on the couch and he was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, I'm good. He said, you know, I'm ready to do this. And I was like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and get the paperwork started and, you know, take it to the courthouse sometime this week. He was like, no, I'm ready to try us again. And I sat up and I was like, what?
Wait a minute.
Yeah. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, I'm ready to try it again. I'm ready to try to put our family back together.
So really what I'm hearing you say is fighting for a marriage takes time and patience. Yeah, it's not actually punching and fighting. It's
I would hope not.
Oh no,
and begging somebody to take it back. It really is like you really just like waited it out.
I waited it out, and you know what? But at that time, I mean, probably if he would have waited another couple of months, I'd have been like,
all right,
I don't want to try again.
I'm about to really be in these streets. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know, if I would have waited, you know, because I was okay. I mean, I was in a good mental space where I would have been ready to receive somebody else. I was in a good space. And I had somebody in my life. And I had told this person that I had in my life, I said, I'm going back to my husband. And he said, I always knew you would.
This sounds like a Tyler Perry movie.
I know, right? And he was so, but you know, he was so, and we're still friends to this day. He supported me and me going back. He was hurt because, you know, he loved me too. But he said, I knew you would, and I support you and will always be friends. And what I respect about you is that you came to me and you told me about it. Yeah.
You know,
Because people will lie.
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I think that like what you represent to me from what I know and for marriage is like be patient, let people be who they are.
Yes.
I noticed that like a lot of people get into relationships and immediately right after you get through that blissful phase, you're trying to change people.
That's a red flag to me. I don't like it.
But sometimes you subtly do it. I've been on both ends of it where I'm trying to be, somebody's trying to change me, and then where I notice I'm trying to like change
somebody else.
It's not necessarily an intentional, like, this is what I plan to do. You just start being like, well, why ain't you ever on time? The nigga ain't never on time, and he probably not never gonna be on time.
No, because he wasn't on time when you met him.
He wasn't on time when you met. Like,
Let's
where
say
does this
that.
thing come from where it's like,
Where did you get these expectations that he's
now
going
you're
to change?
about to mold him
he's
into
not.
something else.
And you won't. So once you understand, ladies, once you understand that you can't mold or shape him, whoever he is in front of you is who he is when you marry him. So if you're okay with that person, and that was my question to me, yes, I thought that my husband would change some things because I didn't like everything about him at the time, right? I didn't. There were some things that I wanted him to change.
and same for him. He probably didn't like everything about you.
Absolutely. And so, but I had to make the decision, am I okay with who this person standing in front of me is right now? And if my answer is yes, I can deal with it, right? If my answer is no,
It's time to go.
You know, let's part ways and be friends. Let's do that.
So before we move on to indecisive Diane, if there's anybody right now who's listening to this, and man or woman, and they're fighting for their marriage, and they got the papers on the way. They picking up the pen, they about to sign them papers. But in the depths of their heart, they really do not want to. I read a book, I can't remember what book it was. They were talking about how most people who get divorced, they really wish the other person would have fought for it. But everybody has so much pride that nobody came back to be like, please take me back. And the other person was like, I wanted you to come back, but I didn't want to say come take me back.
Lack of communication.
The communication. So if there's someone right now listening to the show and they're fighting for a marriage that they're about to give up on, what would you tell them?
Call me. Book an appointment with me. Like,
I know that's right.
TanaGilmore.com. That's what I would tell them. Let me mediate for you.
I know. That's what I say. I'm not giving y'all no free work.
You know what I mean?
Hit me up. And you know what I'm going to tell you? If y'all got to sell a house or buy a new one, then you call me after you call Tana so that I can help you get into a house or sell what you're getting kicked out of. Okay? On that note, we are going to move on to Indecisive Diane. And when we come back, our girl Tana is going to help us give you guys some advice. And this is probably the greatest person to help give some advice.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? What do you want?
Hey ladies, it's me. And this week's date idea, it's a little different, but very necessary. Talk to your bae and go get tested. For everything, but especially HIV, ladies. If you're new at the rate in which it's growing in Atlanta and affecting Black women, talk to your bae, go get tested together. Bye.
Really and truly. All right. Okay, so we are back from Indecisive Diane, and it is time for the advice. If you have a question that you would like for us to answer on the show, please email us at advice@cocktailspod.com. I'm going to let you read it because I'm going to tinkle.
Okay.
I shouldn't have drank that Celsius. I had an energy drink and then this coffee.
This coffee's
That
good.
little coffee drink was
It's so good.
absolutely
It is so
delicious.
good. I love it.
We should have made round 3. Okay, so Tana. So this one is titled Seeking Advice. Hi, ladies. First off, thank you for reading my advice email on episode 436. Okay, details. I really appreciated your insight. I was actually planning to break up with my boyfriend and just be friends with him, but things took an unexpected turn. I just got terrible news from my gynecologist. At my well woman visit last week, I had an abnormal pap result. Turns out he gave me HPV, and it's a high-risk strain. I'm devastated. Right now, I feel like I need his support in case this progresses into something more serious. God willing, it won't. And she put fingers crossed. I also feel stuck. I don't want to date anyone new and risk passing it on. I don't think he's a dirty person or that he was reckless. HPV isn't included in standard STD tests, so he had no idea he even had it. He didn't even know what it was. I'm not sure what to do now, but I'd love to hear if any listeners or your guests have been through this and can share any advice. I'm freaking out, but trying to stay optimistic. Oh, and for context, I'm 36 and he's 46. Thanks again, ladies. You're awesome. He's 46 and he didn't know what HPV was?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know what HPV. No, they don't. No.
Really?
No, because they just really started talking about it probably within the last 10 years. So no, they don't. And so they don't. And so I don't, my advice would be if she was going to break up with him, let's go back to the reason why you were going to break up with him in the first place. Don't feel obligated to be with him because now you've contracted, this diagnosis, right? It's not a death threat. It's treatable, and you would get with your gynecologist, your family practitioner, whoever it is, to give you the medications and whatever, and a treatment plan. You don't have to be with him because of this, because he's not guaranteed to be with you. You know, she's saying that. Here's the thing: she's saying that he gave it to her, but I know people that was like, you know what, she gave it to me, and so it may be his argument that you gave it to him. don't know. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I've not had that experience with HPV, but I have had that experience with genital herpes.
Mm-hmm.
So we even have clients that come to us that have it, and they're like, you know what, are you able to kind of have the conversation that I already have this? And I'm like, I'm not. I can't craft a conversation for you to have with that person that you have it. And then that's what
Oh, like
happened.
when you're matching
When
them,
they're
they want
matching.
you to tell
Yeah,
the person.
They do. They feel like it's a softer blow if somebody else shares that information. And so I won't do it. It's personal information. It's against HIPAA violation.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not like you have a
law.
whole pool of herpes clients and you just match them together.
I just don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
I just
But what I
understand.
will do
you
is
gotta have the conversation.
Yeah.
Y'all
But
got
That
to
is
talk
good
about
for
it.
you
Yeah.
to help
Tell each
them
other.
have that conversation
Yeah.
because I know people who have it and they don't have the conversation.
I do too. Same. Yeah.
And it's
Close
very
circle.
frustrating.
Absolutely. So, but here's the thing. It's their privilege not to have. It's their privilege now. Is it responsible?
No.
Maybe not right, but it's their privilege not to have it. Now, I do know people that are on suppressive medication, so the chances of them, not spreading it or whatever is really small. But they have to be responsible enough to take the medication and do all the things. Now, should they disclose it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Should
You need to
Right.
disclose it and give
Yeah.
the people that option. Just like we
Sure.
talked about in the beginning, you don't know what your husband or wife is
Sure.
into sexually when
you
it comes to the
don't.
fun stuff you want to try.
don't.
You don't know who else has it
You don't.
until you talk about it. And you
Yeah.
also don't
Yeah.
know who understands how, like herpes, for example,
Yeah.
works, and they understand the medication, and they may not just like be like, oh no, I don't want you. I'm gonna treat you like you have leprosy. Like everybody doesn't do that. So,
They
but you
don't.
do need to give people the
You do.
option.
And I
Give
don't
them
like
the
when people
option.
are like, well, everybody has it. Yeah, but that
No.
doesn't mean that the
No.
people who don't have it want
Correct.
it.
Yes.
I always say that if you just are struggling with having the communication around whatever you got and you guys haven't had sex yet, or even if you have, I guess, go and get tested together.
Yes, please.
Even if you can't
Please.
say it out of your mouth, because I can only imagine how embarrassing it can be to be like, I don't know how you're
Yeah.
going to take this.
Yeah.
Go get tested together and just blindly show each other the results. He might have it. She might have it too.
You
And
could
now-
also buy I'm Curious to Know, because there's a question in there for that.
There sure is. There sure is.
Yes, yeah, and I would say, have the tough talk. So, and not everybody, it's not a death sentence, and the statistics show 1 out of 4 people have it, right? So, it is what it is. But again, paint a picture of what this looks like, life with this, and life with having this, diagnosis with me. So again, paint the picture of what this looks like.
The beginning of this episode, we talked about experiences.
Yeah.
Give them the herpes experience. It don't have to be bad.
Don't give him the herpes experience. Don't give him the herpes experience.
I hope it works out for you, sis. I hope you're able to have a conversation with your man. And I hope and pray for you, for your benefit, that you're not
Yes.
staying in a relationship just
Yeah.
because you got a little HPV. You're
Yeah,
going to be all right.
Yeah, don't stay for that.
Don't stay
that
because of
reason.
that.
Don't stay.
Yeah, don't do that. That's not. And then you let somebody have power over you. Don't let nobody have that much power over you.
Because he's
where
going to
you
hold
stay.
it over you. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And he's not guaranteed to stay.
At all.
So you have to learn how to live with this and do life with this, potentially with someone else. You're 36. You have a whole life to live.
Right.
You're young.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Good luck, girl. If anybody else needs advice, you can email us advice@cocktailspod.com. And now we'll move on to the cocktails.
Once upon a time, not long ago, I was a hoe.
Oh, and this week, Tana's going to share a cocktail because we got a guest. So the floor is yours, girl.
Oh, so what cocktail am I going to share? So this is a story, personal story. So, I thought about this and I really wanted to share something that would benefit the listeners. And so I think about over the course of my life when I was in my 20s and I was proving myself to men. I mean, when I tell you, I was, having them over for dinner. I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was sexing, I was doing
Susie
all of
homemaker.
these things, right? Making a whole Thanksgiving dinner on a Tuesday just to prove that I can cook so he can choose me, right? And guess what? They never did. They never did. And so it seemed to me, it was a pattern. Like I would do all the things. I'm dancing a jig. I'm doing this. I'm wearing lingerie. I'm doing whatever I thought to do to deem valuable of him, I would do. 4 times this happened. Every relationship that I was in, we broke up. Either I broke up with him or he broke up with me. And the very next woman that they dated, they married. This happened 4 times. Can you imagine how
I would have wanted to climb a wall.
Were you devastated when you found that out?
Beyond devastated. Beyond devastated. This happened to me 4 times. And so by the 5th time, or at the end of that 4th time, I said, this next man, right? I'm going to take some time for myself, rediscover me. I'm going to decide, what am I doing? What am I doing? What is it about me that they're not choosing? It was because I didn't value myself. I was giving everything away, just trying to prove that I was worthy, when in fact that I was worthy all along. But until I believed it, no one else would believe it until I believed it. So the next relationship, I said, no, I'm going to do things completely different. I'm not going to go all in. I'm not going to do all those things. I'm not going to give away, the world to him right away. He's going to earn it. He's going to earn it. And I'm going to give him drips of my love, drips and drips and drips of my vulnerability and my love. And that next relationship was my husband.
There is a 12-step program that is a lot like the Alcohol Anonymous program, but it's geared towards dating. And I've been doing a lot of research about it because while that hasn't been my same experience, I've had some similar things happen, and it's forced me to like really sit with myself, especially after this last breakup that I had, which has been life-changing. And in this program, it basically teaches women and men, but really women, to have this sort of dating plan where you do not do anything intimate. And by anything intimate, cooking, absolutely out of the, you're not fucking cooking for nobody. Yeah. You're not even coming over to somebody's house and you don't go to theirs, and they tell you to stick to this for like 30 plus days so that you actually can make sure that you are getting to know someone in a real way, depending on what you want and how you handle relationships, and you taking out the intimate parts and details of that before somebody has actually, I guess, deemed themselves worthy, or you just think that you're ready for that. It takes away all of like the fakeness of you getting tricked into some shit. And I was like, the amounts of times I've cooked for somebody, or you come over to my house, or I come over to your house, and it's a serious situation. Like I said, this relationship that I just got out of, it changed my whole life. It's not like flings are different if you really didn't care. But when you have some life-changing shit that really make you sit down and look at yourself, sis, you better handle it differently, or you're just gonna keep finding yourself in it.
You're gonna keep attracting the same.
And a lot of it is taking those intimate, can I still connect with you if you don't come to my house? We have to get creative with how we're getting to know each other so that we're getting to know each other.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing.
I love it. I love that plan. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I love you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
I really enjoyed this conversation.
So did I. We gotta have you come back.
I would love to come back. I love you, ladies. I love what you're doing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Let all of our listeners know how they can book you, how they can find you, how they can keep up with you.
Yeah. So my website is TanaGilmore.com. My Instagram is Tana C Gilmore. My YouTube channel is Tana C Gilmore. All things Tana C Gilmore.
Tana C Gilmore, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to link it in the description box below. Also, make sure you check the description box for everything we've promoted in the episode and also the upcoming trips. Medina's going to Arizona. I'm going to Jamaica, and we want you guys to come with us. Make sure you're also following us on Instagram. Together, we're at CockTales Podcast. I'm at Kiki Said So.
And I'm at Coffee Bean Bean.
And until next week, you guys, goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.
Population.
Goodbye. Bye. Bye. Wait on the drive. Bye. Bye. Bye.